All right. Built to last. Trisha, take
There
it
we
away.
go.
Chapter 8.
Chapter 8.
Yep. Identifying leaders. Ladies, once again, I want your input. There's 4 of us. And yeah, I feel like this is where I'm at. Right? Like this chapter is for me and of course for a lot of other people, but just thinking and processing who are my leaders. So, and it was interesting how he says, like, not everyone is a leader.
Yeah.
And maybe I should start with a quote. I was never at the top of the class at school, but my classmates must have seen potential in me because my nickname was Einstein, Stephen Hawking. And so seeing that potential and looking for it. And yeah, so once you're able to identify potential leaders, you can start working with them to develop them into the leaders they are meant to be. Recognize that everybody you sponsor is not going to be a leader. Not everyone is meant to be a leader. And I like this, where some people are not meant to be a leader and they're just not capable, but some are capable but don't want to be leaders. That is like, okay, I can see that, right? Like you're starting to see now that piece where I can see some leaders on my team, but they're just not there yet. um, they're capable of leading, but not ready to lead. So, and I love this. He's like, you cannot force someone into something that is not, that he or she is not ready or capable of. It's just like, bringing them on for the products, right? Like you cannot force them. I have a friend a high school friend, and I've kind of been dripping on her. And in the summer, she said, okay, I'm ready. And so I messaged her, I'm like, oh, great. Like told her this is how we can do it, and heard nothing from her.
Yeah. I know. I have a
And
good friend. I had a good friend that I brought on, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so amazing. We were like we were so close, and when we were kids, and I had so many hopes and dreams. She was a hairdresser, she was super well connected, like very like outgoing. Everyone loves her.
nope.
She's not in a season of being ready.
I know this is the thing. So
Hard.
I'm doing this cortisol 21-day challenge coming up.
Mm.
So I messaged her again. I'm going to message her again today. She's probably getting tired of me, but it is what it is. I try to tell myself you can't say the wrong thing to the right person or in the right moment, right? Like it's just timing. Not everybody's ready, but I said to her on my last message, I'm like, let's do this. What are you waiting for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know if that was a little strong, but so I'll maybe put some humor into this next one.
But Trisha, I think about that, and I think if this person does at some point decide to jump in with you, I could hear the comment, she never gave up on me.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes we never give up on people that never choose to jump in. But showing that you are not willing to give up, and that you actually, it's not just like saying to your waitress, oh, I think you'd be really great at doing what I do. And then it just being an offhanded thing, right? Do you know what I mean? Like you don't really know them. And yeah, maybe you see some qualities, but they're not terribly deep, and they don't have that same relationship with you, but this person, you see those things in them, you're calling them out, right? And you're like, I am here for this. Like I am so invested in you that I will remind you for years how much I see in you, right? And that's another piece of leadership that you're showing, where it's like, I'm not allowing the no to scare me away. I believe that this person, like I believe it to the center of my being.
Yeah, I think she could be really strong. The interesting thing is she's a lawyer, and she's not a working lawyer. Like when she
Mm,
had kids, she decided not to work. She decided to be a stay-at-home mom. And she's tried a couple businesses here and there that, like an online consignment store. And I forget what the other one was, but I'm like, she's kind of business minded, but I honestly think she's just weighing out the possibility. Like, if
mm-hmm,
I do this, what does it mean? If I don't do this, what is like just
mm-hmm.
weighing it out and taking her sweet time. Anyways,
Is that what Romy
um,
Newstead was? Was she a lawyer? Sherry, do you
who?
remember the get over your dang self lady? Was she a
Mm,
lawyer? I want to say she was.
I think so.
Yeah, that's interesting.
She was, does it say, I don't remember if it says it, but she was working hard, long hours. Yeah.
I think she was a
Pretty.
lawyer. And the sad thing is she would be one of the ones from RNF that lost their income.
Oh, so she was with them. Oh, so sad.
I know.
Anyways, so that's always interesting.
So I would just like to comment on this. Not everyone is a leader.
Sure.
And John Maxwell talks about it's not about being born a leader. Leaders are developed. Leaders learn to be leaders. But when I read this, I kind of thought about it for a while. And I thought, you know what? The motivation to be a leader tends to come from your area of strength. So, for example, if you have a strength in educating other people, a strength in sharing knowledge, then a profession that you choose as a teacher builds on that strength and is very likely to offer you leadership paths in that area of your strength.
Mm.
That doesn't mean that you're going to be a leader in another field.
Mm.
Because yes, you may be self-motivated, you may be a problem solver, you may have the characteristics of a leader. However, you choose to use them in your area of strength. If your strength is physical activity and teaching phys ed kinds of things, you show up as a leader there. If your strength is in ministry, biblical knowledge, you show up as a leader in that area. You may or may not be the leader in the pulpit, but you'll be a leader in the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
So I found it interesting when he said, not everyone's a leader. Because I think leadership is a learned skill.
Mm.
And we may or may not have chosen to develop the capability.
I hear what you're saying, and I think I know. Pardon me. I agree with you. If I'm thinking about people who have come into this business who have wanted leadership, either the motivation hasn't been right,
Mm-hmm.
like they want to be a leader. It's like John says, I think this is one of the best things he's ever said. The whole idea of you want to do what I do, but do you want to do what I did to get to do what I do? And they don't want to do the did to do the do. They just want to have they want to have the elevated view of themselves. Like they want to have the influence that comes with being a leader, but yet aren't willing to do the influence building activities in order to get there. And well, let's be honest, some of us, so Sherry Grant, for example. Sherry, could you just tell me off the top of your head, what boards and groups have you served on in the last 5 years in the ag community? And sorry, outside of Plexus.
Outside of Plexus?
Outside of Plexus, please.
Well, I'm just right now, I'm on a National Producer Advisory Council for the egg industry. I'm on a provincial board for, oh yeah, I'm on a provincial board for the crop insurance
Crop
company.
insurance. Yep.
Those are the two primary boards that I'm on right now outside of
What do you do in
Plexa.
your community?
Right now, mostly not a lot.
But in the last 5 years, Sherry's the one who like reads at the Remembrance Day ceremonies.
Oh
And
yeah, that. I do that. Yeah.
yeah, that. And
Yeah, I
she,
do the Remembrance Day ceremony.
right. And you ended up heading up organizing some of this reunion that you
Oh,
had.
this 50th anniversary reunion thing. Oh yeah, that
Oh
too.
yeah, that thing. And then you're organizing food for something else that's happening in your community, or you got, right? You're doing something there,
I don't know.
right?
I try to get somebody else to do all these things now.
And in the last 5 years, she was doing the Agri Ed Showcase stuff for
Oh yeah,
B.
for the provincial. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Canadian Cattlemen's, they are connected in there. Maybe Sherry isn't like directly.
Oh, my husband's on the board, so I'm pretty connected.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I'm saying. Sherry comes to the table with Plexus, and her influence is like, because she's everywhere, right? She's very highly respected. She has a lot of people who she is connected to, who are also connected to a lot of people who, like, she's very, very connected. Okay. Versus somebody who, and we would not say that Sherry has any sort of poverty mindset at all. She's very abundant. She's very, right, like her mindset has grown. She comes to the table like that, right? And then we have people who are not. They don't volunteer anywhere. They are, their influence is very, very low. They're not connected. They have a very, very small circle. Both of these people can do this business. Is it going to be easier for Sherry to find people to trust her to come on, like, because of her interconnectedness? Yes. The person who doesn't have any connections, who, like, other than immediate family, doesn't volunteer, doesn't show up at their children's school, doesn't show up in their church, doesn't, like, maybe they don't go to church, they don't, like, they're very isolated, I guess that's the word that I'm looking for. This person is going to have to do a lot of self-transformation before they can even step into leadership. Right? And I look at Janelle and I'm like, Janelle walks into the church and all of a sudden she's leading something. And she just like, everybody knows that she has the capability and she can take over this ministry. Oh, she can do this job. Of course she can do this job. Absolutely she can. Right? Trisha too. I can only imagine. What do you mean? Trisha's going to head this up? Sure. Right? You ladies have influence. There are some people who don't choose to live lives where they are putting themselves out there in order to be leaders in the small, right? The idea that we talked about last month, I think, leading in the small so you can lead big, or yeah, anyway, sorry. That was a bit of an aside, but I think he's looking like specifically network marketing people coming in. You're looking like broad sense.
I'm looking broad sense leadership.
Yeah.
And I have noticed, specifically in Plexus, that those that are sharing and tell me that they get the money objection all the time. I've noticed that those people are sharing with a group of people for whom it's a poverty mindset.
I was thinking about that.
And that then means that that's where they need development, is that mindset area for them to move into another group of influence and another group of people to join. It's just an interesting process. By the objections that your people bring to you, you can identify where they're at in their growth journey.
Mhm.
And you could almost say that people who become leaders are willing to work on their mindset,
Yes.
but people who
Yeah. I
don't
agree.
become leaders are closed to it. They're not willing to grow, right? Like
I actually
that
would
is
agree with that, Trisha.
Yeah.
that is the reality of it.
Mhm.
Is and they maybe some people just don't see the need to grow. They're just content
All good.
with where they're at. Why would I change things?
Or they're so discontent with where they're at that they believe that they could never change. They can attend book club, they can attend team calls, and they have the wall, right? Oh yeah, that's great for you, but here's my circumstance. And they've circumstanced all over their possibility.
Well, and he gets to that a little bit later on, right? Where it's about the fear and the self-doubt, or I'm too busy, right? Those sorts of things. I wanted to talk about this one on page 98. He gets a lot of his new leaders asking, how do I get my distributors to the next level? And he said, in fact, the majority of distributors are never going to get to the next level. And then he started to go into the numbers game, which I think is a reality. Like we say, if you talk to 10 people, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 people that actually might listen to you. Not just say yes, right? They might be open to that. But for me, like this is where I'm at right now, is getting my customers to start sharing, right? To actually be leaders. And I loved what Amber Miller said the other day. Was it Amber Miller? Yeah, the soft ask or something like that. Did you listen to that? The soft ask. This was brilliant. And so it's that I forget which. I've listened to a lot of
I have threads
I
in my
think
brain.
it's in the Rising Diamonds.
Yeah.
One of the days. Anyways, so she was talking about how when she signs someone on, she talks, it's kind of like the magic question that Brittany Howard and Christina Williams talk about.
Yeah.
If you love your products, will you share? Right? So she says, I start with that. And she says, generally, and she's got the whole like, since I want to serve you in the best way that I can, like she gave the whole verbiage, if you love your products, would you be willing to share your referral link with your friends and families who would want to be, who may want to order in the future? She's like, so I'm like, if and when and in the future, it's like completely non-committal. And so I really liked that. And of course I've heard it.
Yeah. You know what I hadn't heard from that though? I had never heard about asking somebody to do a first post, but not first posting. Like,
yes,
people,
yes,
this is brilliant. I was like, my word, no wonder you are who you are. She gets people. Would you make a post on Facebook and like take a picture with your pink drink or take a picture of your product or whatever and say, hey, I'm just starting these new products my friend Amber told me about. I'll keep you posted.
I'll keep you posted. There's no ask to join. It's like, I'll keep you posted. She's just opening up this new journey to her audience and saying, I'm just going to let you know how it goes.
And she says it takes the fear away out of when they finally have results. She's not asking them to post for the first time. She's already introduced that first post. You're just continuing on with the idea of, you said you'd keep them posted.
Yeah. So you just go let your people know. How's it going? Give them an update and make sure you tag me in it.
What?
I was like,
so brilliant.
Brilliant.
And was there really anything new under the sun with that? No. Did she just present it to us in a just soft manner? Yes.
A little tweak.
Like,
yeah.
hello.
Yeah, and she said she's had like multiple people without really intending to have a business go through silver, super silver, or fast start silver or gold or whatever,
It's how I
just
built my
sharing their
business.
journey.
It's honestly how I built my business to senior gold.
Mhm.
Other than one person who was like specifically gonna like, the first person that I had that went gold told me explicitly when we ordered her product, I am never saying anything about this. 2 days later, we were still shipping from the States. Her product was nowhere near her. She was like, oh my gosh, I've been researching and reading and I can't shut up. I need to tell people. And she was telling people before it even got to her house. She's like, I know this is going to work for me and I know it's going to work for 7 other people. And blah, blah, blah. She just went nuts. Everybody else was like, I didn't do this on purpose. I just told somebody and I told somebody else and I told them, and now I'm silver and now I'm, you know, all these
Yeah.
accidental people that just, right? Can you imagine if we started to ask people to post that way?
Yeah. And I think for us, like if you're thinking about weight loss, right? Like if you're thinking about the perspective that he's coming from, like I feel like Beachbody is more about weight loss than anything. Is that
Did you
what
say
it
that you
is?
did Beachbody for a while? Okay, like I didn't.
Janelle did?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I did. It's very heavy focus on weight loss and their exercise programs, but that real heavy focus on weight loss.
Yeah, my sister-in-law did it, and she's just started taking Plexus. So I got to keep her going on that.
But you're
But
telling her
anyways,
that our workouts are free, right?
right? Yeah, she's actually
Yeah.
she's pretty disciplined at working out already. She's kind of got her plan going. And so she's just adding this in as a support. Anyways, if you think about, you know, weight loss, not everybody's going to want to share like that just to me has a limited audience of who's going to actually join you. But if you think about what we have to share, the idea that the majority of distributors are never going to get to the next level, I'm like, I don't know, because now with this, like, you think about, I've had one in July. She said, I don't have to sell the products, do I? Like right off the bat, she's like, can I
Interesting.
just take the products? And I'm like, no, you can be a happy customer. That's all fine. But the funny thing is I'm signing up her friend at the end of this month. Because her friend was like, you look different. What's going on? And then she told her. Anyways, it's because we have this product that can change lives, right? Like she was one person who was like, I have tried a bunch of things and nothing's worked. So I'm going to try yours. Tell me how it's going to work. You know?
Well, hypothetically speaking, if Janelle Traxel was not already doing the business and she saw the difference in her chronic pain, do you think that she could shut up?
Right?
Somebody comes to her and is like, I have a chronic pain issue. And she's like, can I tell you?
Yep. It's so true. So I feel like with this soft start, like even the girl that I signed up last month, she's like, I don't have to sell, do I? I don't have to tell people. I'm like, no, you don't. But I feel like this soft piece, right?
Yeah.
And I did say to her, I said, you don't have to, but if you think about the people that in your life that you care about,
Yeah.
this stuff could help them. So maybe those are the people you think about telling, you know, once you see the results.
And these are their connectors, right? These are the beautiful connectors in our businesses where you can have somebody who goes silver or even senior silver at some point and is just honestly telling their friends and their close family members. And then they've connected you to those people. In that pool of people, it is possible that you're going to get a builder or somebody who goes gold or senior gold. Like it's like Alex said, we don't want to have 1,000 millionaires. We want to have 1,000,000 thousandaires. And that's how this business is put together. They want a little sprinkling of hope that is just going to make that much of a difference. I mean, would it be great if we could have everybody be millionaires? Yeah, okay, that would be
Mhm.
awesome. But they're recognizing that not everybody wants to have that either
Leadership
responsibility,
responsibility.
right? Not
Yeah.
everybody wants that. This can work for the person who is a full-time lawyer, right? You think about that. If they were working as a full-time lawyer and they were able to think clearly and they didn't have digestive issues and this actually helped support them in being a lawyer, would they not tell their other lawyer friends? Absolutely they would. So there you've got
Yeah.
somebody who now has a little team and they just shared, right? That's great. That's great news.
And
Yeah.
what it tells me about that is the additional responsibility for those of us who want to build a business and be leaders to find ways to support people on those level 2s and 3s without the expectation of pushing a responsibility onto an unintended, unintentional team leader
Mhm.
that has all those people. So maybe they've got influence and they end up with 10 or 12 people and they're super silver. And we start saying, well, then you should in
Mhm.
the business side. No, actually, that's not their goal. And so it really is the importance of us knowing their goals and knowing how we are helping them support their people and
Yeah.
how we are actually being that support system.
And this is why I love our comp plan. It is really why I love our comp plan, because 5 points, like we're getting paid. I mean, I've seen other comp plans. It does not look like this. You end up getting paid, a very small percentage of their own volume, and that's it. And you're like, okay, well, how can I support their people? Like time for money, it doesn't make sense. With Plexus, it does. It really does make sense. And so people can come in and be like, I don't have the time or even the desire. I'll
Not
talk to
interested.
people about it. I don't want to make reels. I don't want to show up
No.
on social media. I don't want to do that. But in person, I will tell the people that I'm connected to. And then you just get to say thank you and come along and help serve their people.
Yeah. And I think that's what you said about making the reels and social media. I think that is one of the blockers to people sharing is like, I don't want to do what you're doing and you don't have to do what I'm doing. Who do you know that struggles with this, and this?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Needs to poop. Let's talk.
let's share. Let's just share. All right. So how do you know you have a leader? Are we good to go with that one?
Yeah.
Move on down.
We're all talking too much, Tricia, for you.
I love this. This is
Trying to
perfect.
herd
It's all good.
cats.
It was a short
Awesome.
chapter and I'm like, how are we going to fill an hour?
Oh,
We've
no.
had no problem.
No problem.
We don't have any problems.
How do you know someone in your downline is a potential leader? He said there's no specific type of person, but there are some specific things. And I know that Sherry, you had said last week, you kind of pointed out these things. So when I read it, I'm like, oh, Sherry read this chapter before. She was sneaking ahead. She's one of those students that sneaks ahead.
It's me. I'm the problem.
Love it. Anyways, but he said there are specific character traits. So, the things that you said, like self-motivated, solution-oriented, they're problem solvers, they're competitive. And I don't even think you have to have all of these things, but you would have some of these things, right? They believe in something bigger than themselves. And I think that comes to also like, as we're developing leaders and looking for leaders, we want to be making sure that like, we want to have them rise above us, right? Like we want to try to develop their success. They're dreamers and they're action oriented and coachable. And I don't know if anybody wants to say something about that, but definitely going into the inspiration and desperation. I think we all have a story with that, right? Like first for me was desperation. I needed to feel better. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. But then the inspiration came as I read testimonies, because my journey took a little bit longer to heal. And Jimmy's like, just hang on, just hang on. It's gonna work. But she told me to read, just go on and read testimonies. And that's where the inspiration came to, like, this can change lives. This is not just selling candles or leggings.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think we all kind of develop that inspiration, desperation
Yep.
tandem and duo.
And it's usually, in order to do something uncomfortable, usually you need to say, okay, the discomfort of staying where I'm at cannot outweigh the discomfort of doing the new thing, right? Like or do you know what I'm trying to say? Like
Other way around. Yes. Got it.
it's the other way around. Yeah. The discomfort of staying the same is more than the discomfort of doing something new and scary. Right. And honestly, okay, so I'll give a different perspective on this. We can have leaders that have goals. So you can bring people on, they're desperate to change their health, they're inspired to do things for people, and then they catch the big vision. They're going to impact the world, they're going to impact their bank accounts, they're going to get out of debt, they're going to be able to pay for their children's education, they're going to be able to care for their aging parents. Like I'm thinking about all the things that I've heard. And then sometimes what happens if you don't protect your mindset and you don't keep yourself accountable, complacency can slip in. With Plexus, it's really good money, and you can make really decent money for a team that is maybe half the size of what you actually wanted. And sometimes, especially Christians, we can think, oh, I'm just being greedy. Maybe I should just be happy with what I have. Maybe I should stop striving to grow bigger. Maybe I should, and then we get convinced to stay in the safe place. And all of a sudden the dreams and goals, and you know what, our goals can change. But you think about that, like I talked about, the visceral feeling, right? That when you hear a goal that resonates to like the pit of your stomach, it is like in you, and you're like, I need to do this, right? You need to remind yourself where that I need to do this is on those times where you just think, you know what, we don't buy organic anymore, it's okay. And if Sherry, if I pare down my book purchasing to maybe one a month, and I don't buy, if I I could cut back on that, or whatever. And there's seasons where it's hard, but I have seen a lot of leaders who get to the next level. They realize they need to get to that next level of developing themselves as leaders, and they go, the discomfort to change is actually far greater than the discomfort to stay the same. And I could just not buy the books, and I could just not buy the organic produce, and really student loans for my kids, it wouldn't kill them. And like they change their goals because that discomfort to change, I'll tell y'all, doesn't get smaller.
No, it does not.
You conquer that next thing and you go, okay, that's so great. Okay, now we can thrive in this space, and you're thriving in that space, and all of a sudden you become aware that next mountain is steeper. It has more mountain lions. The terrain is rockier. You need better boots. It's like, I don't know if anybody caught Trisha Rieger's live. That was very interesting. It took them a little while to put it up because I think there are some controversial things in there when she talked on Monday night. It was 2 Mondays ago, I think. Right, leave it. Sorry, I have a dog that's licking a wound. She said, do you think that it's hard where you're at? Let me tell you,
It's harder.
It's harder at Diamond. And if you can't move through the hard where you are, that's exactly where you should be. Because it gets harder and harder and harder. but the payoff is more and more and more. Like it does come together, right? But the hard gets harder. And so that's why we encounter the hard at this stage, and it's a gift.
Well, and I think, you know, it's a journey, right? So if you think about where I started, when I started sharing, I literally said, I have 15, 20 minutes
Yep.
in my day. It's like, that's where I started.
Mhm.
I can message a couple people and I can start. I think I started with making 3 posts a week. I think I did a
Mm.
Plexus post, a Plexus testimony, something about me, and some sort of health thing. And that's where I started. I
Yep.
wasn't ready to give more. So the amount that I'm doing right now, if I would have tried to have done that back then, I probably would have quit, right? Like I would have been overwhelmed. Like, how do I manage this? How do I do this? And I even remember looking at Jimmy Lou, like, I can't do, I even remember thinking, how does she do it all? I can't, she writes all that stuff. How does she write all that stuff every day? I didn't know that there were, you know, places that we can get information. And we have the one Plexus where it's like, you comment on that and you can take and make it your own kind of thing, right? And you're
Or
not like
you wake up in the
composing
middle of the
everything on
night.
your own.
You didn't realize that you would wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh my gosh, that's a post.
Yeah.
Things come and download into your brain, and you're just like, I don't know where that came from. And yes, that would look incredibly intimidating, but because that's where my brain is going and you're learning and you're growing and all of those things, it perpetuates.
Yeah. Or even the habit of writing those things down, right? Like you have those aha moments and I wasn't writing them down. And then I get home and I'm like, I have no idea what that aha moment
What was
was.
that thing I was going to post that I was sure to remember later?
Yeah. Right. So, you know, all these habits
Yeah.
and it's growth, right? So if you think about the whole journey that we're on, if we stay right where we're at, we're not growing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get what we
And
got.
yeah. And so in order to grow, you have to work the muscle, and that's hard, right? Like it's the hard things that actually help you grow. And so
It's the same thing though. If you really want to know what you need to do in your business, if you're spinning your wheels and you're not sure what you need to do to grow, first thing is you look at the thing you're avoiding. What is
mhm,
it that I don't want to do? And that is what I need to do the most of.
yeah,
Right there. The thing that if I think about my business that makes my stomach churn and makes me just super uncomfortable, that's likely where I need to pour most of my time into and not the other stuff. Now,
Janelle and I are slowly growing in that, right? Janelle, we're talking on the camera. You're doing it more than
so
me. Good
well.
job, girl.
And then I get a leadery moment where I'm like, I think, and that is my response every time I see you guys step into a space where I know you're growing and I know it's hard, right? It's just like looking at your kids. You're like, they're doing so good. They're out there with the other kids on the playground and they're making friends. And it's so like, I'm so proud of you, right? Because you see it from a different angle. And I'm like, and yeah, I have bits on my camera all the time. It's just something that's comfortable for me, right?
Yep.
And I look at you guys and I'm like, I'm so freaking proud. I'm so
And the thing is, too, when I see Janelle, because we see the other Janelle Phillips, we see you all the time. When I see Janelle Traxel, I'm like, it's so nice to see her, right? Like it's so nice to see her chatting and that sort of thing. So then we've got to, there are people out there who are happy to see us and happy to hear it. And
exactly.
there you go, right?
And I'll give an example.
Everybody else, oh well.
I'll give an example with Sherry. I challenged her maybe a year ago. And I was like, you need to make more little fast like blips of your day. When you are out in the field and you're like, well, I want to see that. I want to see that. And every time she does it, I'm like, that she sees all the time. And it's amazing. And I love it. And it's sharing. And it's fantastic. I have those moments. And she's probably like, oh my gosh, just like, let it go. But it's so good.
Yep.
Your last reel was in the dark.
And that's the thing, like we went through the reel challenge and then I started thinking, okay, well, that would be a good reel, and kind of got in the
Yeah.
habit of doing a few more reels a week. And then now I can see my mind shifting and saying, oh, that would be something I could talk about. Like I was at my naturopath yesterday she's actually an acupuncturist.
Mhm.
And so I went to acupuncture, but I was telling her that I actually was struggling with sleep a little bit, body changing, and I had taken out Metaburn
Mhm.
and the L-theanine in it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to add it back in and see if that was the thing that actually was helping me sleep, because I've always been a good sleeper. Well, sure enough, since I put it back in, I've been sleeping well. So she said, cortisol. She's like, you were probably having a cortisol shot at the 3:30, 4:30. So I'm just going to talk about, like, this is my information from a naturopathic doctor, right? And yeah, talk about that for a little bit. So that'll be coming today. I went into
Love it.
camp. We're almost done, right? I'm
Yep.
57. I loved the sleeping giants.
Yep.
I really, he mentioned, I think earlier, your dream teamers, the people that aren't on your team that you'd like to have on your team. I got a few of those. But there's also people that are sleeping giants. So when I looked through my people, I actually want to look through like my potential leaders. That was our action step, to look who are your leaders and who could be your potential leaders. And I actually want to take my list now and really think about, why do I believe in them?
Mhm.
And it really cast vision for them. I want to intentionally write it down. Why do I think they're a potential leader? And how could I cast vision for them, tell them that I believe in them, connect with them? What did he say? Followed up with why you believe in that person and what you see possible. So that casting vision that we always talk about. Yeah, so that's where I want to take this list and just, I'm pretty sure I got a few sleeping giants on my team.
Mhm. And the other thing too to do is make sure that we're praying over these people too.
Yes.
Really dedicating that time. And because sometimes it's a change that needs to be made in us. And that's the perfect time to address that and just be like, God, would you change me to be the leader, or would you change my words to be that you know that they need to hear? Like, could you change me? If you truly want this for this person, I see this. God, if you want this for this person, would you bring me into an aligned space where I'm going to speak the same language as what they need to hear? Would you open my heart to be sensitive to where this person needs me?
Mm-hmm.
And like, give me timing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And too, like praying for the leaders to come to you, right? God, bring me. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why don't do it all the time. I'm such a forgetful person. And I think it's just, one of those things, right? You think about the Israelites wandering the desert, you're like, oh, God's got you, pillar of fire by night, cloud by day. I think he's invested, right? I always forget, because anytime I do it, I'm like, right, God, bring me the people. Bring me the people who need to hear about what I have. And for those who can't come to me, send me to them.
Yeah.
Send me to the people who need to hear.
And I think if we end off, I love that. And then just end off, like he said, make the decision to change now. It's really just a decision. right? Like if you don't have a lot of leaders on your team or people, like, don't let fear, self-doubt, or the excuse of I'm too busy
Mm,
to stop you. So
mhm.
pray first,
Yep. Right
and
first.
then don't let fear, self-doubt, or the busyness of life stop you from your impact, really, right?
Mhm.
The impact that we all can have.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
I think we're
Thanks,
done.
Kristen. Thanks, ladies, for being here with
Thanks,
us.
ladies.
We appreciate it. Our next book is called, Sherry, do you have it by you? It's About Time by Valerie Burton. We're not going to get into it for a while because we're still working through this, but I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Order it now because it's an older book. It's not old, but if you're going to order a paper copy, order it now because who did I gave one to? Janelle, did you get one? Yeah. Okay. So she got one
I got one.
and you got one. Okay. So you both have them. So tell your people to order them now because, oh, good. Janelle will be able to lead, like starting right, ready to go. I had two that I was going to send as gifts and I went to order them and they're out of stock. And so I waited and then I ordered and they literally had one in stock. The second one, so Amy's is coming on Tuesday and Melissa Falconer has to wait until like the end of the month. Middle of this month to the middle of next month. So if we start telling people that, yeah, get the book, get the book. I'm so glad you loved it, Janelle. I'm so glad because I'm excited. I mean, Sherry loves it too. So
I love it. I love it. And I'm working through it with another group right now. And we're kind of on a 10-week schedule to work through it because we're kind of doing a deep dive and doing the work.
mhm.
And yeah, so I'll be excited to hear their feedback on that if that's the flow we'll work with or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right, ladies, thanks. Have a great day. Bye.
Me too. Bye.